I had to trim that tomato plant, and so we have a couple of cuttings. They're a little bit larger than I would normally try, but since I had to cut them back, I went ahead and gave it a whirl. And so we now have, and you can see the sun breaking through. We've got this pruned way back, and you can see we've got some flowers coming in all over the place on here. And of course the demon squirrels attacked my one beautiful tomato, and so we're gonna have to wait till we get our first tomato of this, before we get to eat our first tomato. That's the second tomato that the squirrels have attacked. And we've got this one pruned way back as well. And I'm hand pollinating these things. We've got flowers everywhere. So hopefully we'll get some of these flowers to set, and then we kind of roll on over to here, and I've got to tie this lettuce up because it's going to seed, and we've got tons of seeds about to pop open on this particular lettuce, and then hopefully these red lettuces will seed out as well. As you can see, they are starting to flower. I just put these in this morning, and it's looked like they're already growing a couple inches just today. Those are cucumbers. These are spaghetti squashes. They don't look nearly as good as the cucumbers. I have a couple of new eggplants, and I've got some cucumbers over there. They've already grown several inches today. I've got a bunch of new eggplants coming in, and some eggplants over here. This particular plant, it just doesn't look very good, and I'm wondering, it made it through the winter all right, and so I'm kind of hoping with the spring and summer that it will reinvigorate itself and start putting out a whole bunch more eggplant. This side is doing a lot better. I see a lot of new eggplants. These small tiny eggplants to the left, they were here before the last cold, the flowers were, so I don't know if they're going to actually develop. And I see this tall branch right there that looks really weak, so I'll probably prune that back. But these are the Rosa eggplants that I like. They're nice and round, about the size of a softball, and they make for a really good eggplant parm. The mulberry tree is doing very well, all up and down. Then we're going to come back down to the blueberries, and even though they're flowering out, the plant does not look particularly healthy. So I'm going to feed it, and I'm going to put some more soil on there, and hopefully that will help it out a bunch. Now this is our brand new red seedless grape transplant that is looking really good, and that is our dragon fruit plant that actually made it through the winter, even as cold as it was, and I'm seeing new growth on it, which is exciting. I don't know if I'm going to keep that plant there or not, because it's going to be completely covered up with the grapes soon enough. These are watermelon radishes that are flowering out and about to go to seed. So hopefully I can harvest a bunch of seeds from there. And the dinosaur kale looks really good and healthy on all the plants. But these cucumbers I just put in are really, I mean, they're just taking off. I mean, I put them in this morning and they're 2, 3, maybe 4 inches taller than they were just this morning. So this side of the garden is showing lots of sign. This is what kind of berries are these? Cherries of Rio Grande, or they're not cherries of the Rio Grande. They are the dwarf Barbados bushes. And we haven't actually got any fruit. We've got lots of blooms the last 2 seasons, so hopefully we'll actually get some cherries. This is the Texas pink pomegranate, and this is the Pakistani pomegranate. And you can see all this new growth. I pruned it back to about 6 foot, so a lot of this is already 2 or 3 feet of new growth on the top. And this is our Victoria Red grapevine that is starting to really put out some growth, and hopefully that'll give us some grapes, and we can try these because we haven't gotten any grapes off of this particular plant. I'm going to use this for basil and cilantro and some other herbs because I did peppers in here last year and it didn't get nearly enough sun. And there's some more cucumbers. There's a couple of the long Japanese eggplants that I need to find a home for, and some bush beans that I need to figure out a place for. So I'll finish clearing out this side this weekend, and I'll move some of the new compost over here, and I'll just put in a bunch of basils and cilantros, dills and whatnot. And we have the Malabar spinach that'll be vining out, and we have the kiwi that I'm hoping will actually come back. That's a new growth, and some new growth there. But the kiwis typically need a little more sun than what this tree is allowing us to get over here. So we're having to change our strategy on this side. The peppers, they're trying to come back. They don't look very good except for this one, which has lots of new peppers on it. This is the Jabuticaba tree, and it looks okay. I would like to move it to where it gets a little more sun and pull out the spinach and the carrots and amend the soil for that for the spring. But everything on this side of the yard is looking pretty good. This is a new fig tree right here. And we've got one fig right there. That's a Texas Giant blue fig, or a Texas Blue Giant fig, I'm not sure. Blue Giant fig, yeah, Texas Blue Giant fig. And we harvested one that it appeared to be nice and ripe, but it was not. It was soft, but it had not ripened. This is our longevity spinach. It's a volunteer plant that's really doing well, and I've got a couple starter plants that I've put together, but I think I'm going to do a whole bunch more and try to get this trimmed back a little bit. And it's going to seed too, so we'll be able to harvest some seeds as well. And the chicken's making lots of noise. Some more of the tomato cuttings that they're not looking real good. We've got one strawberry on our strawberry plant, and those are the longevity spinach cuttings, and they're all looking pretty good. And we've got some more tomato plants over here that need to go in the ground this weekend, and these are just growing at an accelerated pace. Lots of fennel. I'm going to harvest a little bit of fennel this weekend and see if I have any fennel bulbs underneath. Waiting for that lettuce to go to seed. There's a bunch of starters that I've got going on. Tomatoes and bell peppers mostly. This is a muscadine plant, muscadine grape, and this is also a muscadine grape. And we've got this going to seed as well. And these are Cherokee purple tomatoes that are looking really good. I didn't do nearly as many tomatoes in this bed. I'm going to concentrate on single stem production rather than letting the tomatoes grow out of hand. And we've got lots of peppers that need to go into the ground. More fig trees. These will all be filled with bell peppers. Our black Spanish grapes are just starting to grow out nicely everywhere. Our lime tree is doing very nicely. The grapefruit tree is doing nicely. The olive tree is doing nicely. Our Concord grape transplant is doing real well. I've got more Cherokee purples in the ground over here, with this one needing to go in the ground and needing to be watered ASAP. So I'll get that in the ground maybe even tomorrow, because it's only Wednesday. Then all of this on the other side, lots of spinach. I'll leave one or two because I see some that have plenty of flowers that will give me lots and lots of seeds on them. I'll leave a couple, but that needs to be planted out with tomatoes. And this is our mustard green, and you can see it's got lots of seed pods on it. And then just bell pepper plants that are going to be put into the ground this weekend. So we've got a lot of stuff going on in the garden and just not enough time to do it. Walk back over here. I'll show you how well the black Spanish grapes are doing. And we have bunches of grapes all over. I don't know how many you can see with the light, but just in this little section, got a whole bunch. Then we come over here, we have our asparagus that's doing real well. That's a real recent transplant. And this is ginger, I'm pretty sure. And I've got a ginger, a turmeric, and an asparagus over there. We're letting this spinach go to seed. Brad put a couple tomatoes somewhere over here, and then I'm going to have the sugar snaps in place. This trellis needs to be attached to the back side, and we're just hoping that we have a really good tomato crop this year and that I can fend off as many squirrels as possible.